the ladies of the Evil Dead, Betsy Baker, Elen Sandweiss, and Theresa.
Are we sitting in the right spot? Yeah, oh yes.
You are, yeah.
Oh,
That's Theresa.
oh.
Watch it, don't fall. Oh, there's tripping over the wires.
Hi everybody.
Oh, greetings.
So, ladies,
Yeah. Yes.
did you have a good day at the con? It's almost over.
We are having a great day at this con. This is such a great con. It's really,
It is.
you guys have made it. You're so friendly.
It's connable.
Well, except that guy in the 7th row.
I
It's
like
connable.
it because it's small and we really get to talk to people and it's not so loud that you can't hear yourself. Because we're all hard of hearing now.
Can you hear us?
Yeah, because it's far, but that's
You can bring
fine.
it closer.
Well, I don't need to if you don't. If you can hear us.
So,
Yeah.
let's hear about some of your experiences. I mean, like, you got, Theresa, you got real glass shot at you during.
Oh my God, I forgot about that. Yeah, that was not pretty. That there was a combination of things that night. They first told me that they wanted me to take off my shirt.
Speak into the microphone. For
For
that one. I gotta hear this story again.
No brassiere.
That shows how old we are. Who says
They're
brassiere?
going, what's
I
a
think
brassiere?
Theresa said brassiere.
No, seriously, so.
She has peignoir sets too, you know, to wear it in the evening.
But that wasn't part of the deal when I signed on to that thing. It was like, oh, you know, you're going to be in the movie, do some screaming and running around. But after a couple weeks, they had this long meeting with me. And at first I said no. And then at second I said no. And then they said, well, we're probably going to have to get someone else.
Did they really?
Yeah.
No.
I've
Honest to
never
God.
heard that before.
You haven't?
She's totally making
No,
this
I'm
up.
not. I was freaked out, and I had to drink a lot of that, moonshine to do it, because I did not know this was going to be part of my film. So yeah, so that. Then the glass didn't even bother me at that point. Do whatever you have to.
Oh, was this the glass breaking in the window?
Yes. See, they can't even remember. It wasn't their part.
It wasn't our scene.
Wasn't their scene. So,
So I always like to ask people, raise your hand if you've seen The Evil Dead just once.
you have to leave.
Raise your hand. Raise your hand if you've seen The Evil Dead 5 or more times. Or, oh no, 5
or more.
Let's see, 5 or okay, raise your hand if you've seen the movie
She just wants to see you raise
10
your
times.
hand.
Oh my God. 50 times. Ah!
Raise your hand.
Sorry.
Raise your hand if you have never seen Evil Dead. There's some honest people right there.
Whoa, should
Why
we get
are
them?
you here?
So, all right. So now you know that most of everybody's seen it a bajillion times.
Bajillion.
Yeah. So what was some of your favorite experiences that you had on set or off set?
I don't think there were any.
Favorite. I'm not quite sure there was a favorite experience.
Next question.
I mean, but just so that everybody knows, we were actually supposed to film this movie in Detroit, in the Michigan area, because that's where we were all from, and it would have been easier to do in terms of budget. But the weathermen back then predicted that it was going to be a horrible winter and a horrible fall, meaning cold. So they decided to go south a couple of states, and they found this cabin in Morristown, Tennessee. And the fact of the matter is that Morristown, Tennessee experienced the coldest fall and winter on record. And we were there to experience it in a cabin that actually had no heat, no running water, no bathroom.
No electricity.
Yeah.
And no bra.
So now you got no brassieres. Some of us had brassieres, but apparently not Theresa.
Well, I brought one, but
So you brought a
what Betsy's-
brazier.
What Betsy's trying to say was that it was very challenging, very difficult. We did have fun because we were all really young and we were doing this cool thing, but fun on the set.
It wasn't the kind of fun that, we were used to having, where you were tortured until you couldn't stay awake any longer, and then you had like an hour to sleep, and then you had to get up and do something else. That kind of fun we hadn't had
Right.
until the movie. And now we're still not thinking it was that much fun.
So how did y'all get the roles? That you're Linda, you're Shelley, and you're Cheryl. I know you did Within the Woods with Bruce Campbell to do the pilot. So, but how did you all come to? Do you all know the?
Well, I think with Teresa's brazier, we know a little bit more than we did
We
before.
know how she got the part.
I'll just start. I actually was living in Detroit and with an agency doing some commercials and things like that in the Detroit area. And my agent called one day and she said, there are 3 young men that are thinking of doing a movie and they would like to meet with you. Yeah, but not in our office. They want to meet with you in a public setting. What? And they would like to meet with you at an Italian restaurant named Pasquale's. Can you do that? Okay. So I went thinking I would see 3 young, refined gentlemen, maybe in their 30s and 40s, and here were 3 guys over in the corner booth, exactly, literally taking straws and blowing, what are they, when you blow the covers to each other. I'm going, hi, I'm Betsy. Oh, hey, great, sit down. We've been waiting for you. It was pretty bizarre. And then, so I read for them, and then I went to Sam Raimi's parents' house in the basement and did another scene, and they asked me if I'd be interested in doing Linda with a brazier.
Well, I don't kiss and tell, so go ahead, Ellen.
I actually went to high school with Bruce and Sam, and we did a lot of theater together. I was in their little shitty Super 8 films, like Within the Woods. And I was in college, and they just said, hey, how would you like to take a semester off and make this movie? And I went, okay. That's it. The rest is history.
Did you think that the film would have as much success as it did?
I thought nobody would ever see it, which is why I was okay with what I did, because I literally thought nobody would ever see it.
I knew since I took my brazier off, it was going to go places.
Upward and outward.
Actually, on that same point, I was hoping that no one would ever see it, especially my parents.
Yeah.
And when they did see it, I told them I was in a bodysuit.
And did they believe
And they
you?
believed it.
Thanks to this con, I have to say I'm learning so much more about Theresa. I have to tell you.
I know we've been doing this for like 17 years, and we've never heard some of these stories.
Yeah. Keep it fresh.
Hey. I mean, so you had one of the hardest scenes, Ellen, the tree scene.
What, the tree scene? What is she?
I'm sorry.
I don't know what. The
Let's
hell
just
you're
leave it
talking
at that, okay?
Did you know that was what it was going to be when you
No.
went in? Okay.
So in the script it says Cheryl gets attacked by the woods. Okay. And so yeah, I mean, I did a lot of running, a lot of screaming, and the whole thing kind of evolved. And when it started kind of getting a little more, say, sexual in nature, I was like, I don't know if I want to do this. And they said, no, it'll all be long shots and there's lots of fog. Nobody will see anything. I went, So when I actually was at the premiere and saw it for the first time, I was shocked.
Horrified.
Shocked and horrified, and my parents were there.
Oh no.
Yeah.
See, now you're believing the brazier story.
Yeah.
Tell me it was a bodysuit. It was a body branch.
Yeah, it was a total bodysuit. Yeah.
A body branch.
With nipples.
There you go.
So, let's open it up to everybody else. You want to?
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure.
Questions? Audience questions.
I bet they don't have
Oh, boy.
any.
I bet they don't.
Well, let's take one right up here.
How painful were those contact lenses you had to wear?
Oh,
Those things were like-
he's asking how painful were the contact lenses? Very.
They actually hired an optometrist to come down to the set and train our makeup artist.
Between Bruce and Sam, probably.
Yeah.
Tom Sullivan.
To insert them properly, with cleanliness, clean.
And let's remember that we were in a cabin with no running
Water.
water.
They-
So we basically had dirty contacts left in our eyes. That
Longer.
were only supposed to be in for like 10 minutes.
15.
And it would be more like a half hour,
Yeah.
45 minutes.
Because your eyes actually really need oxygen, and those who wear contact lenses, there is, they're able to get oxygen, and there's little tiny holes in your contact lenses that give you oxygen. But these were hard plastic.
They're called scalarian lenses. They were the very first version of contact lenses.
So the reason you could only wear them for 10 or 15 minutes is because there was no oxygen that could get to your
She's so
eyes.
scientific.
So whatever also happens is after 14 or 15 minutes, they say, okay, I guess you can take those out now, girls. We'll cut this scene. And then, of course, you hadn't had oxygen, so that your eyes couldn't make any tears, and now you can't get the contacts out.
She still got them on.
Well, I wouldn't have to wear glasses today if it were for those scleral lenses.
Scalarian.
Sclarian.
More questions? Okay, how about there in the corner?
Have you ladies ever been asked to do the Evil Dead stage version?
No.
Have we been asked to do
The stage version?
Evil Dead the
Oh,
musical.
Evil Dead the musical? We haven't been asked to do it, but we have been to many performances of it.
That's something else.
It's
It's
really
something else,
great.
yeah.
The songs they got.
Yeah.
Welcome Which Way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We love it.
It's really fun. If you haven't
My
seen
favorite
it.
song was What the Fuck Was That?
In addition to that, not in answer to your question, but in addition to your question, it's kind of actually really interesting because there are very few movies that have been made into plays. I can name a few, like Mary Poppins or Oklahoma, but Evil Dead. So, in all sincerity, to have a character on a stage, on an off-Broadway stage, as Linda, Cheryl, or Shelley is kind of cool.
Yeah.
It's really a flattering.
It's in Vegas, like every night.
Yeah.
I don't know if you know that, but
I didn't know that.
yeah. You can
See,
go.
once again, you guys, we're
That's
getting
why we
more
do
educated
these.
every day.
This guy's
here?
had his
Yeah.
hand up for a while.
Oh, hello.
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 Okay, I guess I'll just go ahead and ask it. Funniest thing to happen on set involving either Sam Raimi or Bruce Campbell? I'm
Funniest.
so sorry.
When you fell asleep.
Do you mean like funny, or do you
funny,
mean like
weird, or-
funny?
What surprised me?
Okay, I got a funny one. Well, it was a shoot at night, and I was required to be nailed underneath the floor, except for my head and one arm. That was the body part scene. It was such a short little moment, but it was horrible. So I think Bruce was pinned under the ground as a leg and someone else. But Sam fell asleep while he was shooting it. And I had the lenses in my eye. And I don't really remember how we woke him up or figured it out. That I think I heard like
Snoring?
I maybe I just remember someone said, "Sam, wake up," or something like that. And it had gone on way too long. So and there, I was pinned under the floor, so it was kind of not. That was a funny moment.
That's funny.
No.
Wow.
How about right here? Ma'am, in the front row? Yeah.
It's actually for you.
Okay.
I'm a massive nerd, and I know nobody's actually gonna laugh at me here for this, but when I saw you here in
Because nobody else here is a nerd, right? Yeah, okay, go
Ash
ahead.
vs. Evil Dead, when you reappeared, I almost burst into tears. I was so excited about your reappearance and about the Henrietta and how close it was to the movie. And I want to know how you felt when they approached you, like, hey, we want Cheryl to come back and torment Ash again.
I'm not following you. You mean in
Ash vs. Evil Dead.
Oh, in Ash vs. Evil Dead. Yeah, that was a blast.
And you looked exactly the same.
Oh,
It
thank you. That was fun, particularly because I got to go to New Zealand.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was really a blast. And you know, the difference between making the original Evil Dead movie with no union and no money and no rules and no nothing, and then going and doing a TV production with lots of money behind it and lots of rules, they were overly protective of me. It was like, you know, if I had to lay down on the ground, they were like spreading out blankets
Oh
for me.
my
And I go,
God.
guys, I was in Evil Dead 1. I ran through the fucking woods in my nightgown in 40-degree weather. So I'll be okay laying down on the ground. But it was a blast.
They're trying to make up for the.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
There's so many great, wonderful camera movements throughout the movie, so very specific. And so I'm wondering, for all three of you, were there certain shots where it was so difficult to hit your mark exactly how you had
Good
to?
question.
Well, go ahead.
Good. There was a particular scene in which Linda has some sort of knife or sword and goes after Bruce, in which he kind of fakes it and crashes into the bookshelf and then it falls down on him. Cry me a river. But anyway.
A bookshelf made of
So we actually
styrofoam.
choreographed that for quite some time because I had the lenses in. So I could not see a thing. So it was hit and miss. And it was actually had to end up being Bruce's job to choreograph himself and, you know, aim himself wherever I was putting the sword, because I was doing my best, but he had to actually choreograph himself, badly done, may I add, so that then the bookshelf could, you know, I could stab him and then the bookshelf could come down and hurt him. So that was particularly difficult because, you know, the other, and then I'll let the other two speak, but when he pulls me out of the cabin, there were no stunt people, as you may remember in the movie, and he really pulled me out of the cabin, and my back went down, my spine went down those 3 steps, and that was pretty painful. So Sam says, well, let's do it again. I didn't quite get it on camera. I went, well, hold on there. And I said, I'm going to need something for my spinal cord. And he said, well, we don't have anything, but all of a sudden, it was either Rob Tappert or Sam Raimi or Bruce Campbell said, wait a minute, get the rug out of the front seat of the car. So we literally took the floor padding or the floor rug out of the front seat of the car and duct taped it to my body. So let me just tell you, finalize this. Do not ever, ever put duct tape on your skin. Let me just finish that by saying, do not ever, ever agree to put duct tape on your skin.
I think there were a lot of things like that where we were wearing the lenses, and you know, like I think I had to hit Scotty with the sword, but I was blind. I had to jump on him from the shower, and I couldn't see him. So it's like, I don't know. It happened eventually. But Sam was very specific about the way he choreographed movement. Like even a very simple scene where I had to say, for God's sake, what happened to her eyes? I mean, I had to like kneel down, put this hand up, and you know, he had every, like, don't blink your eye. It was very specific.
Yeah, I think all of our hitting the mark stories involve being blind behind those contact lenses. So there's one scene where I get kicked in the face by Bruce and fall backwards into the cellar. Well, the cellar was a hole in the floor about, I don't know,
Shoebox.
5 foot by, you know, it was just a square hole that was about 5 feet wide. And with the contacts in my eyes, I had to fall backwards into the hole. And I had to fling myself back because he was kicking me in the face. And there were people in the hole with a blanket to catch me. So, needless to say, when I flung myself back, the first time I did it, I smacked my head on the edge and didn't make it in the hole, and had to do it about 4 more times until I actually made it through the opening. That was fun.
Right there? Yeah, you.
This is a really probably stupid question, but
That's okay.
at the beginning you were singing a song in the car, and I always wondered what is that?
Yeah, what is
Yeah,
that?
what is that?
Could you tell us what that was?
Sent you 20 letters from Paris last week, but I've been gone 6 months and I got the. Sam came up to me, kind of like the bra thing, and said, "You know, we need you to sing." And I'm like, "I don't sing, Sam." And he had written this song. Yeah, he wrote it. I don't know what it means or why I had to sing it, because both of them have really good voices and could have done a much better job.
No, you did a phenomenal job.
Oh, stop it.
I'm not kidding you.
Texting, B?
No, stop it. I have to do something, please.
Okay.
She's like online, Facebooking. So
What
yeah,
a great crowd this is.
Oh, I know what she did.
Okay, more questions. Yes?
Right?
Yeah.
Okay, so in the original, there was the older Evil Deads, and there was Ash versus Evil Dead.
Yeah.
Then there was the 2013, 2012.
The remake.
The remake. So what were your guys' thoughts? Because the originals and the series had such a similar feel with the horror and comedy, that the reboot was so serious and dark and brutal. What were you guys' thoughts? What did you guys think about it?
And bad. I forgot that.
The after credit scene was fantastic.
Yeah.
The what?
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah,
The what?
I won't
End
speak for
credits.
all of us. I wasn't a fan of the remake for that very
It
reason.
was harsh. It was brutal. Yeah.
Well, to me, the whole Evil Dead franchise, even the first one that wasn't intended to be funny, but was funny unintentionally, and then starting Evil Dead 2 and on, they went, oh, we have something here, let's intentionally make it funny. But they all had a sense of humor.
Yeah.
And they all were campy. And to me, the remake was just another horror movie of late with lots of blood and no sense of humor.
Yeah, I agree too that what I like about this whole Evil Dead franchise is the campy humor of it and not taking yourself seriously, the movie. So
I think I'm going to agree with both of you, and Ellen especially said something at a previous convention. She said there's scary and there's violent. I think there's a huge difference, and I think some people get confused in describing horror movies or thriller movies. I definitely think the original one done in 1979, 80, 81, and 82, all during those years, was scary in a campy, simple way. I personally felt the remake of Evil Dead 2 was scary, but to me, just a different type of violent. And my definition of a remake, apparently is different than a lot of film directors' definition of remake. If you remake it, there was never any crack or coke or drugs in Evil Dead 1. Well, maybe except for that fireplace scene. But
I did not.
when the plot when the plots change, to me that's not a remake. That's just my opinion. But
Yeah,
I think Ellen, you said it best at a previous panel that there's scary and there's violent.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like a standalone movie, but it didn't feel like.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like the Red Rain.
Yeah. Yeah.
So we sometimes like to do a little trivia game.
Yeah.
If that's okay, if we
Yes.
have time.
Yeah, how's our time?
Yeah, absolutely. Lots of time.
Well, we have some trivia questions. I don't know what I do with them. Shoot. Okay. So we're just going to do our best, and we're going to take the first hand up. I want quiet hands.
Oh,
I don't want shout outs, just quiet hands.
She's a
and we'll do our
teacher.
very best to call on the first quiet hand up, and we have prizes.
Let
Not
her
every.
be the caller, so that way.
Oh, actually.
Then you can
We'll
get all
find
the
first
blame.
hand that
Okay.
goes up. Yeah. Okay.
Got mine.
So in the movie, as you well remember, question number 1, we all made it down to the cabin in a car. And so hold on a minute.
Wait till she finishes the question, please.
So the car was on the road and it was passed and almost crashed into a truck. The truck had a nickname. Does anybody remember the nickname of the truck?
I think Cassidy
Okay,
raised her.
I think that it said Lazy Mary.
Whoa! Lazy Mary is right. Boom, come up here and get this poster. This is a poster of Mary Poppins. Enjoy.
Thank you so much.
Would you like to do the second question?
Yeah, sure. Am I allowed to? Can I read it? Oh, I don't like that question. I'm gonna do the third question. So, who were the two people in the movie at the very beginning of the movie waving to the?
It was Sam and Rob.
Very true. Very true.
true.
You got it.
Oklahoma, right here.
Okay, when, towards the end of the movie, when the shit really hits the fan and Bruce is going crazy, basically, he goes down in the cellar and there's like a puddle of blood that he steps into. What was floating in that puddle?
The Band-Aid package.
Well, you guys have seen the movie more than once. Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood, right here.
Oh, sweet.
Mhm.
Do you have another one?
I think there's one more.
There's one that.
This
is a good one. So, I previously just mentioned that fireplace scene. What is the brand name of the reel-to-reel tape machine recorder that Ash finds and brings up from the basement?
Right there.
I'm probably gonna get it wrong,
Go
but
for it.
I'm just gonna go ahead and say Sony.
It was.
Wow.
I didn't know that.
There you go.
What the hell?
Yeah. My
I mean,
feelings.
It was just the brand off the top of my head.
Well, you knew it wasn't going to be KitchenAid, so.
All right.
All right, any more questions?
We got time.
Got this one right here.
So I read, I think in the Evil Dead Compendium that when you guys got to the cabin, the floor was covered in like cow shit that had been there for like ages. And I read that a lot of people had to shovel that out and get it livable to film the movie. So did you guys contribute to?
Livable.
Yeah, there weren't a lot of people. That was the only
Oh,
mistake.
habitable?
There weren't a lot of people that had to shovel it out. There were 5 people. Us being 3.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah,
what?
I mean, it was completely abandoned and wild animals had been going through it, and it was just a structure. There really weren't. They built the walls and they made things look like a bathroom, but there was no plumbing or anything. So, yeah, it was a mess.
Were you there when it caught fire?
No,
No.
No. That
Was
long
anyone?
no, but people have traveled. We've had people come to us at conventions with bricks that they went to get from the fireplace, which is all that was left standing after it burned down. And they brought us the bricks to sign at a convention.
It's a heavy load, though.
You think you're a
carry that around all day?
Any more questions? There you go. Or either way, you.
Alright. This directed to the fans. Is I noticed that the franchise had tried to connect the Friday the 13th, Nightmare on Elm Street movies. How many times did the claw appear in Evil Dead 2?
How many times did what appear?
The Freddy claw, and how many? And
He's asking
There
the
was a-
fans.
I know, but I just wondered.
Freddy claw appeared.
What's a? And he's talking about Evil Dead 2, right?
Evil Dead,
Yeah.
and also with Wes Craven.
They had like a war
Noticed there's
garden
a
on.
poster in the
Yeah,
that feels the lines.
yeah.
Yeah, there was an
I was
homage.
wondering, what direction was you guys think that would have gone to?
Does anyone have the answer?
There was going to be a Freddy versus Jason versus Ash, but now it's a comic book.
Oh, I need to read that.
Yeah. So, and I guess there was another idea where Jason was going to be actually in the movie. He was going to be put back down into Camp Crystal Lake, frozen with the Necronomicon. So that kind of puts both in the franchise, I guess. Non-canon, canon.
No more prizes, sorry.
I got one more question.
Oh, wait, behind you. Yeah, that's
I
right.
have a random question for all three ladies. How did you end up getting a cameo in Sam Raimi's movie, Oz the Great and Powerful?
Well, you know my story.
Yeah. What did you take off that time?
Well,
it was really his idea. He just thought it would be really cool to, I mean, he put everybody that he's ever known in his life in that movie because it was shot in the Detroit area. So, I mean, my old French teacher was in the movie, and he just thought it would be cool to have the three of us kind of recreate
The cellar scene, looking down at the cellar
yeah,
scene.
the
Yeah.
scene where we're in The Evil Dead, where we're looking down into the cellar. He had us in the same order, standing there in Oz, as
On the Yellow Brick
quadrant
Road.
women.
it was kind of a fun shoot too because, of course, it was very high budget, and we experienced like a star effect that day because there were a lot of Evil Dead fans in that Oz shoot, and so when we got up there and stood, it was like, oh, Evil Dead. It was very cool.
It was cool.
Good question.
That one right there.
How many times have you each seen the movie, and what's like your favorite scene to watch?
Try not to watch it as much as possible.
I'll tell you what my favorite scene is. I don't know how many times I've seen it. I have no idea. But when Betsy goes down like this and she's crying in the doorway and then she pops up. I just love that moment.
Yeah.
That's some fine acting there.
Is that the onion scene?
I think another one is,
The onions?
Ash, I love it. I'll never take it off.
Yeah.
Piece of crap jewelry.
Good one.
And Ash thought I was serious. Wow,
It was
she
the
really
ugliest
does like
necklace
it.
anybody's ever given anybody. Favorite scenes? I really like the really creative, like, film techniques and camera angles, and for some reason I love it towards the end. Again, the same scene that I was talking about before, where Bruce is in the basement and crazy things are happening and the blood oozes out of the electrical outlets and fills up the light bulb. I thought that was a cool scene.
That's where you lose me on those crazy.
Yeah.
Well, one of the most inventive scenes was, I think, when you were getting out of the car. You said, they're coming to get us, I want to get out. And in actuality, so I think they had hired a cherry picker to go up and do a shot, and the car almost looked like it was crooked, against the side of a street or a side of a road in the hill. And then when they were getting in and out of the car, and I think Ash was, insisting that we get back in the car, and the car won't start, that was actually filmed in Sam's garage, Sam's parents' garage, later on.
Part of it was.
So
yeah.
when somebody mentioned a lot of the different camera angles, I mean, for a director who was barely 21 years old, there was an intense amount of creativity in some of his camera angles and his shots that nobody had done before, or had done with such little money. That was pretty amazing to me.
And just to refer back to what you were saying about the claw, isn't that where the claw?
Yeah, the Freddy Claw.
Yeah,
appears,
in that scene.
and also in the basement.
Yeah. Oh, on the poster. Yeah. Yeah.
Well, ladies, I want to thank you for coming out. And if you have anything else you want to say, we're time is up. The timekeeper is.
I think we just want to say thank you, even after all these years, to the fans, and I think I can speak for all three of us. We really sincerely mean that. We just love seeing you guys, and we love it here in Sacramento. And thank you for inviting us.
And
Thanks for coming. Yes.